Joy Lab.
Hi, I'm Tonya. This is one of 2 videos in a series on what to do with leftover Dr. Pepper. Now, you know me, I hate to waste food. And while I know that this 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper probably only costs 99 cents, I have all this left over. And I can't just dump it down the sink. Now, you might be saying, well, Tonya, why don't you just serve it up and drink it? We don't drink regular Dr. Pepper. We drink Diet Dr. Pepper. Well, Tonya, why did you buy it to begin with? I have this wonderful recipe for pulled pork that is basically onion, pork, and Dr. Pepper. That's it. Put it together in a crock pot, and by the end of the day, you'll have this delicious pulled pork. Serve it with coleslaw, some barbecue sauce, and it's wonderful. I'm not showing you that recipe. I'm showing you a 2-video series on what to do with now all this leftover Dr. Pepper. Now, you can drink all the Diet Dr. Pepper you want, but you can't cook with diet drinks. Diet Coke, Diet 7-Up, Diet Dr. Pepper. Something in the fake sugar messes with your recipe. And this video is all about Dr. Pepper Brownies. Delicious. And because I use my freezer to help myself have less stress and less mess at dinner time, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to double your recipe and use your freezer to have some brownies for now and some brownies for later. This recipe for Dr. Pepper Brownies is your standard homemade brownie recipe, except for one thing. There are no eggs. Because we're using carbonation in the Dr. Pepper, that is going to give your brownies the binding and the lightness, and so you don't need the eggs. The eggs are being replaced by the carbonation in the Dr. Pepper. Now, if your Dr. Pepper's flat, it's okay. You can still use it in this Dr. Pepper brownie recipe. Your basic ingredients are Dr. Pepper, the butter, chocolate chips, baking soda, flour, sugar, salt, and Hershey's cocoa. Let's get started. First off, I need to prep my pans. If you're going to all the trouble to make homemade brownies from scratch, you might as well double the recipe and use your freezer so you can have some brownies now and some brownies later. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do that. The recipe for Dr. Pepper Brownies is for one 8x8, 9x9 pan. So I can put my brownies in here, bake them, and then take the brownies out and freeze them for later. That's one way to do it. The other way to use my freezer is to use a disposable aluminum pan, put my raw brownie mix in here, and instead of baking it, wrap it and put it in the freezer to bake at another time. 2 different ways. Bake the brownies, slice them and freeze them, or use the raw dough and freeze it that way. I'm going to show you both. To prep my pans, I'm using heavy-duty aluminum foil. I want to, brownies slice better if you take them out of the pan, if you don't have these sides in the way. That's what we're going to do. We're going to need to pull out the hot brownies and let them cool and then slice them. So I'm using heavy-duty aluminum foil to line the pan, and then I can pull out the hot brownies. I'm going to line up the edge of my pan with the edge of the foil, and then the other side, let me do it this way. Edge of the pan with the edge of my foil. Then the other side, I'm just going to crease. Now I know where to fold to make the right width for my brownie pan liner. Perfect. Can you use regular aluminum foil? Sure. I like heavy duty because it's heavy duty and you know it's not going to tear. I still need to lightly spray my pan. Ooh, I don't know that that's lightly sprayed. That was heavy sprayed. And here's the one that's going into the freezer with the raw brownie batter. Spray that. Now I can set these aside. This Dr. Pepper brownie recipe has two different aspects to it. It has the dry ingredients, which you're going to whisk together, and the ingredients that you need to melt together. I'm going to get the melty one going first. The melty one. Yes, that's the technical kitchen term. I am doubling the recipe, remember, to put them in the freezer for later. Because if I'm going to all the trouble to make homemade brownies, I might as well double it and freeze it. That's the wonder of freezer meals. Look at this beautiful pyramid of butter. The recipe calls for 2 sticks of butter. I'm putting in 4. 8 ounces of 8 ounces of Dr. Pepper. It says 8 ounces since I'm doubling it. The recipe. We'll put 8 plus 8, 16 for all you math wizards. And this will go on the stove. Don't boil it, just melt down that butter. Once the butter is melted, I will add chocolate chips. Let them melt also. Now for our dry ingredients. Remember, I'm doubling the recipe. 2 cups of sugar becomes 4 cups of sugar. A lot of sugar. So you know they're going to be good. Plus all the sweetness from the Dr. Pepper. 2. 2 cups of flour, which becomes 4 cups. Now you can see I'm using my biggest bowl, and I need to use my biggest bowl. In the description below, I have a link to an Amazon purchase for a big bowl, which you are going to need. Every kitchen should have a big bowl. If you click the link, it will take you to Amazon, and if you make a purchase, I get a few pennies for you purchasing a big bowl, and it doesn't cost you any extra. So help a girl out and buy your big bowl through my link on Amazon. Thank you. All right. Okay, we need 3 tablespoons of cocoa. Hershey's cocoa is the one that I use. Have used forever. There's a link below also. 1, 2, 3. We're doubling the recipe. 4, 5, 6. Salt, it's a ½ teaspoon. We're doubling it, so 1 teaspoon of salt. Baking soda is 1 teaspoon. We're doubling the recipe, so 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Now we'll whisk this together. In the description below, I have a link so you can buy a whisk on Amazon. You probably already have a whisk, but in case you don't, Amazon will bring it to your door. And if you purchase through my link in the description, I get 2 pennies. And it doesn't cost you anything extra. I like using clear Pyrex or glass bowls because then you can see through to when you are actually properly done mixing everything together. See, like right here. Not ready yet. I have to whisk some more. If this was a metal bowl, I would have no clue. I wouldn't know I wasn't done whisking. All right, that looks pretty good. I'll set that aside. Let's go check and see how the Dr. Pepper and butter are melting together. The butter is just about melted. I had it on medium heat. I can add the chocolate chips now and get those all melty too. One cup of chocolate chips, double, makes it 2 cups. Usually I like milk chocolate chips in my brownies. Because of all the sugar in this brownie recipe, I'm going with semi-sweet chocolate chips. Ooh. And it never hurts to have more chocolate chips in your brownie recipe. I'll put this back on the heat, lower the heat a bit, and I will stir this until the chocolate chips are all melted into the Dr. Pepper and butter combo. Be right back. Our chocolate chips are essentially melted in along with the butter and the Dr. Pepper. Now we mix them together and pour them in the pan. Ooh, the pan's hot. Just a little bit of chocolate that did not melt at the bottom, but it's going in the brownie recipe anyway. Be very careful when you are stirring something that is so full. Can you hear that? Carbonation from the Dr. Pepper is going pss, 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 bubble, bubble, bubble. Fill the bowl, fill the pans with the brownie batter. The pans are two different shapes. It's a little bit more challenging to make sure I get the right amount in each pan. Oh, sorry. That was just a knee-jerk reaction because you have to. I didn't mean to do that in front of you, but since I have, so there. Okay. Sorry about that. This one I'm going to bake and then remove the baked brownies, slice them and freeze them. This one I'm going to freeze just like this. You can choose which way you want to do it, but I would definitely encourage you when you're baking something from scratch, double the recipe and freeze it. You want to get the complete benefit of freezer meals. So you do the work once and you can enjoy the results for many, many, many days afterwards. You can do the work once, front load the work, and then enjoy the benefits anytime in the future. This one's going in the oven. And this pan is going directly into the freezer. Always use extra wide, heavy duty aluminum foil when you're wrapping pans for the freezer. And label your pan. Dr. Pepper Brownies. Thaw overnight in the fridge. And then bake them. Wait, uncover, unwrap. Bake 350 degrees for, you want to guess? Did you guess 20 to 25 minutes? You would be right. Okay, this one goes to the freezer. And this pan is going to the oven. I will see you after these brownies bake. Our brownies have baked. I want to take them out of the pan, and before slicing them, I'm going to put the big brick of brownies in the freezer for a little bit. I learned this trick from a caterer friend. Brownies slice cleaner when they're slightly frozen. Let's try that out. Just going to loosen the edge. This is the edge without, without the foil. And here we have the edges with the foil. Still quite hot to the touch. I let it cool a little bit. I let it cool for about 30 minutes, so it's still hot to the touch. Very dense and heavy brownies. I'm going to put this whole brick of brownie in the freezer to let it cool down a little before I do the slicing. It's very greasy on the bottom, So I need to put it on something, but first I have to wash my hands. I don't want to just put that greasiness on in the freezer. There we go, there's our solution. My brownies have been in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Just enough to take the edge off the heat and make the fat solidify a little bit to make it easier to slice. I need to prepare my freezer container. I have found the most wonderful labels. These are actually hard to find. It's hard to find labels to put on your Tupperware that you put in the freezer. This is a company that I found on Amazon, and I have a link in the description below. If you click the link and buy these labels from them, from my link, then I get a few pennies, and it doesn't cost you any more. The great thing about these labels, and it says Dr. Pepper Brownies, is that they dissolve in water. Often it's hard to pick off the labels when you need to reuse the container for something else, but this particular brand of labels dissolves in water, so it's wonderful. The plan is to slice the brownies and put them single layer in this freezer container. These are very ooey, gooey brownies. Oh my, delicious. Well, I'll just do a few for you to see. So delicious. If you were here, we'd be sharing the crumbs right now. They're still warm, so I can't cover them yet because you want the brownies to be perfect. Sorry. We want the brownies to be perfectly cool before sealing them and freezing them. What I'm going to do is use Glad Press and Seal. Oxygen is the thing that makes freezer burn happen. So you want your brownies to last longer with the oxygen than the air not touching them. So once I have all the brownies here in the freezer container and the brownies are cool, then I will use the press and seal to press and seal from the air before putting on the lid and putting them in the freezer. The whole point of freezer meals is to have less waste, so you save money. The whole point of freezer meals is to front load the work, so when it's time to eat and you won't have to make your kitchen messy and there won't be that stress of that dinner rush. You can also be a blessing to other people by having extra meals on hand in your freezer to share. So we froze these Dr. Pepper brownies in two different ways, as individual pieces, which is perfect for pulling out 1 or 2 brownies for when your kids are coming home from school, or a raw pan of brownie batter, Dr. Pepper brownie batter. And this would be good for if you're having a party or going to a potluck. You can pull this out of the freezer the night before, let it thaw in the fridge overnight, and then bake it and head out the door for your potluck. My goal is to share how to use freezer meals to make your life easier. I have video courses, I have free resources. Please look in the description below. See how else I can help you make your life easier. Remember, this is a 2-video series on how to use extra Dr. Pepper. Look for the other video. The link should be in the description also. I'm Tonya. Thanks for watching.
Joy Lab. Learning done right.
Learn more with Joy Lab. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Visit us at www.joylab.biz. Thank you.